Hey guys, welcome to Brickstars. In today's video, we're going to be looking at old torsos and seeing if they would make some awesome new looking Lego castle minifigures. So we've got a large collection of old Lego knights and minifigures in general, and we really love the simplicity, purity, and awesome nostalgia that comes with these minifigures. But we asked ourselves, how would they test against time? Would they still look as good? You can see some of these old minifigures here, ranging from the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, had some variety. They used different colored arms. They had some interesting leg pieces, mismatching the colors as well. Lego started to refine the printing. Some of these are more detailed. Some of the printing has a little bit of shine to it, but overall much simpler than what we see today. And so we're going to be taking some of these simple torsos and modernizing them to see how they would look on today's minifigures. Before we get to our minifigures, let's take a look at some new style minifigures. These are probably 5-10 years old. Some of them are brand new. We've got the Wizard, the Raven Knight from the collectible minifigure series. This is another Castle Knight. Here we have the new Vampire Knight from the collectible minifigure series. Just a wide collection of modern looking minifigures, and what a difference in the prints. One thing too is the faces. They're a lot more animated now. They're a lot more lively. That's something that we love with the new faces. As much as we love the simplicity of the old style, these just give you so much room to enhance your scenes or your dioramas or your photos that you take. So we're big fans of the new face style for these minifigures. Just looking at some close-up details of these new minifigures, you can see they have references to old ones as well. The Bard with the Forestman tunic, the Black Knights, and the Forestman, of course, remakes. Here we've got some peasants that have very simple prints compared to the other ones, but look perfect nonetheless. And you can see the accessories are a lot more refined as well. We have bright shields, printed guitars, shiny shields, new sword molds. So these new minifigures really look great, and we can't wait to see how some of these parts are going to tie with those old torsos. Again, those torsos are 10, 20 years old. How are they going to stand up with these minifigures that we see today? That's what we're going to find out in a little bit, but just one more look at how beautiful these minifigures look. And we love showing off our collection too. You can see we've got a wide range of minifigures, and we especially love castles. So that's why anytime we get new castle minifigures, we're always excited. And without further ado, here are the 5 torsos that we've chosen to make modern figures with. You can see they're all pretty simple. Of course, Basil's probably the newest one in this bunch. You can see the printing's a bit more refined, but some of these are some of the early minifigures, or late 90s, early 2000s. And you can see the colors here, red, blue, black, but no arm printing, no back printing, very simple. Oftentimes the logo was the main feature on these torsos. We've got our pieces out here. We've got our parts kind of organized, minifigure weapons, heads, different torsos and shields. And this is where the creativity really starts. So the first one we looked at was updating Basil. Here we use the witch legs from the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure line, one of our favorite collectible minifigure series. And we've just topped it with some other parts that we've collected over the years. I think the head actually comes from the Gamer Fig from a couple CMF series ago. And you can see this really cool bat neck bodywear piece turned out great. I think that was a random purchase off Bricklink that we got a couple years ago, but it works great in this instance. And really happy with how Basil turned out here. Even this cape that we have, it kind of reminiscent of the original cape, but just in a simple black color, and the red eyes peeping through really give us that kind of vampire knight look. And the leg printing ties perfectly because originally Basil had gray legs. So with all these minifigures, we kind of tried to stay somewhat true to the original, just really updating the parts and keeping that original torso. So you see, we've also added his staff here, which he originally had a translucent red one. We've kept those parts as well, of course, with the bat on top. and just a quick 360 look at him. You can see from all angles this minifigure looks really cool, we think. We're really happy with how he turned out, especially when we add the shield here. He looks like a modern Fright Night would look, and I would say the torso doesn't look dated at all. It ties in beautifully with the cape, the red pops, the black arms, no need for arm printing here. The legs are very detailed, and I'm actually a really big fan of this old helmet. We did experiment with the new Batlord helmet, but I think the old one with the wings coming off to the side looks really cool in this application. Next up, we've got the Crusader Knight. Really simple minifigure again, red torso, blue arms. That's something that LEGO really loved to do back in the day. But here you see, obviously, we've added the new Lion Knight leg print, and it ties great because the torso is very similar, red with the blue arms, ties beautifully, and we've thrown on the new Johnny Thunder face, which kind of looks cool as a medieval archer type minifigure with his mustache and the black hair, really sharp looking. Here you can see what he would look like if he was in battle with a large bow. So really cool looking minifigure here. We just love the pop of color that came with this, and you're gonna see it looks really great alongside other Lion Knights. So these minifigures match beautifully. We don't think it would hurt to have him as part of this faction. Of course, the crest is a bit different, but I forget my LEGO history. The Crusaders and Lion Knights were kind of mixed at one point, so I think it really works, and we're blessed that LEGO gave us the Crusader shields in the Lion Knight's castle, so for them to bring that back just worked great with this minifigure. Of course, I would like if the shield and the torso print were the same shade, but that's okay. It's kind of realistic. In real life, knights often had their shields painted, and then their torsos or whatever they were wearing would be made of a fabric, so it actually kind of works. And just another 360 view. We love how these modern hair pieces look. They've gone a long way from the old style LEGO hair, so this guy really looks like a middle-aged archer. Here we've got the Royal Knight. This one looks really cool because the white arms tie perfectly with the white legs from the Lion Knight's castle minifigures. I just love how the yellow lion head with the gold accents on the minifigure pop together, and the white and red throughout the minifigure ties really nicely. So really happy with how this one turned out. The gold accents again on the helmet, the shoulder armor, and the sword tie really nicely, and we can just see this knight being added to the new Lion Knight's castle or as a faction on their own. Here you see he's kind of walking. You get a look of the different angle, and without the helmet piece, even with the hair, he looks pretty good. And nothing too crazy. Again, these torsos didn't have back printing. I think that's one thing that would really elevate them. But as far as the front of the torso is concerned, I actually like having a simpler torso because it brings out some of the other elements. So in this case, you can see the shield really takes shape and the leg printing stands out. One of my favorites of the bunch is the new King Leo. The original King Leo was kind of an older gentleman, you can tell by his white beard. What we wanted to do here is kind of make him a young king. He took the throne early and he looks pretty sharp. We like the different elements of blue, so the navy blue cape, the blue torso, even on the leg print, the gray legs we think work really good here, and that pop of red in the middle looks really sharp. I think that lion stands out perfectly. You can see here King Leo's horse with the barding. It would be awesome if we had that barding to show as well, but we don't have that in our collection yet. And this crown and beard piece from the collectible minifigure series works great. I do love the old chrome crown, but this one with the dual molded headpiece looks really great. And that's another thing that's pretty new with LEGO and that really elevates these minifigures is that dual molding. So having one part with multiple colors just looks awesome. And we think one of the old pieces that is tough to beat is that chrome sword. So that's a timeless piece. I much prefer this to the new sword. So some new, some old, but we think it looks great when put together. Here we've got the Tournament Knight. This is one of the older torso prints that we have in our collection, and I was surprised to find out it's actually a pretty expensive part, going from $40, $50, $60. So really lucky to have this one in our collection, and we think he looks great paired with this dark gunmetal armor. So the sword, the shoulder pads, this shield is from the Lord of the Rings sets, and we think it kind of gives him a really unique and cool look. And pairing the red plume with this, we think works great. We've made him a little kind of custom shield here, as we imagine he would partake in a tournament competition, whether jousting or fighting, something along those lines. And the black helmet ties really nicely with the torso. Of course, the legs, I think, also come from the Castle Kingdoms line. And here we've got him next to some of the other tournament knights. So we can imagine a scene where you've got different tents, the king watching, and all these different factions battling it out, and we think this one would tie in perfectly. So he looks really sharp, a 360 view here. We use the printed arms again from the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure series line. I think those tie in great because they kind of have these leather straps on them, and they're just a subtle little touch to add some detail to an otherwise simple torso. And the colors tie in pretty nice with the leg printing. So really happy with how this guy turned out. I think we'll be keeping him in our collection and on display. Let's take a final look at all of them together. Here are our new old knights. So these torsos, let us know in the comments what you think. Did they stand up? Do they look great? Let us know what you would change. But here, I think we did a pretty good job. I'm happy with all of these figures, and I'm going to have a tough time putting them apart and putting them back into storage bins. I think a lot of these guys I want to keep on display and add to our medieval village and our castle scenes. I think they just look really good. Everything tied together nicely. The leg printing is something that pairs really great with the torsos, and nothing's too crazy or mismatched. I think a lot of the colors work great together, and I don't think the torsos are lacking. Sometimes simple is better, and in this case, I'm really happy with the results. You can see all of these minifigures look pretty cool. The shields, the different accessories that they have, the modern face printing just gives them that other dimension that makes them look more real life like in a way. So really happy with this experiment and with this video in general. This is something that we're going to look to do more of. So let us know in the comments again what you liked and which minifigures you'd like to see us try and do next.